Yo, what is up, guys? My name is Nicholas Earl, and welcome back to another episode of Earl Sports Bets. And today, it's today, we have UFC Fight Night, Curtis Blaydes versus Derrick Lewis, and we've got a massive card. The UFC scheduled 15 fights, expecting some to fall off. We only lost one, so we have 14 fights that we're going to get tomorrow. So this is going to be a long card. This is going to be a long video, so sit back, relax, and let's get into it. But first, you can follow us on our Twitter at BetsEarl and at Earl Sports Bets on Instagram. And then we also have a Discord chat, which the link will be in the description below as well. And as always, leave me your best bet for a UFC Fight Night in the comment section below. All right, let's just get right into this because this is going to be a pretty long video because we have 14 fights we're going over. So let's do this. We're starting off with Jared Vanderaa versus Sergey Spivak, minus 250 for Spivak, plus 210 for Vanderaa. And looking at this one, Sergey Spivak coming in 11-2. He's 2-2 in the UFC. Vanderaa is 11-4, his pro record, and then this is his UFC debut, 3-0-0. Spivak coming off of a decision win versus Carlos Felipe. And looking at this, we're going to start on the Vanderaa side. He's going to have the size advantage. He has around 20-pound advantage there. But my bad, he has the weight advantage. Spivak has the size advantage. But looking at it, I don't know about Vanderaa. His ground and pound is strong, but the thing is he has to get this fight to the ground and just kind of like lay on top of him, really. He is slow moving on the feet, but I think his only chance is to bring this to the ground and get a ground and pound KO. Looking at the Spivak side, I think he just needs to keep it on the feet. He needs to outbox Vanderaa, which should be pretty easy. Vanderaa is kind of slow on the feet. And Spivak, I think, is very improved. He's improved in most of his areas of the game here. He has good offensive grappling as well, but for him, the good idea for him, the smart play, would be to keep it on the feet. I think Sergey Spivak is a parlay piece. I'll give you guys a ranking at the end of my video after we go off. Once we go through all the fights, I'm going to give you my rankings for where I would set them in different parlays, how my confidence level. I think Spivak is up there. I like him to get a win here. I think Sergey Spivak by decision is probably the play here. I don't really see Spivak really having that knockout power. His last couple fights were decisions. He also had a submission. So maybe a submission for Spivak, but I like him by decision for this fight. Next fight, we have Aliman Sahabi versus Draco Rodriguez. Sahabi is 7-2, 1-2 in the UFC. Draco Rodriguez is 7-1. This is his UFC debut. You can get Rodriguez for minus 188, plus 163 for Sahabi. Sahabi coming off back-to-back losses here, coming into this fight in the UFC. We'll start on the Sahabi side. I think he needs to take this fight down to the ground because I think he could get outworked on the feet. I think the only spot he really has a shot is trying to get this to the ground and maybe getting a submission. He's also one of those where he just doesn't take shots well. He's one of those that, in the term, he likes to be a hammer but doesn't like to be the nail. He can punch, but he doesn't like to take a punch. And he is coming off of a long layoff, which is really concerning. For Draco Rodriguez, the main thing here that is really worrisome for me here is he missed weight by 5 pounds. That looks like someone who didn't even try to cut weight, though. So that could play to his advantage, but it's very worrisome. That's why he's going to be towards the bottom of my list for confidence level. Now let me click Spivak there. And we're going to be going with Rodriguez in this fight. I do think that he's going to have higher volume on the feet. I think he's just better overall, and I think he's going to outlast Sahabi and get a decision win. Uh, I don't like him for parlays and stuff like that. Uh, that weight cut makes him very untrustworthy. He's not someone I'm going to be laying a lot of money on tomorrow. Uh, that may be actually a complete pass for me, but my pick for this fight is um, Draco Rodriguez. Next, we have Chaz Skelly versus Jamal Emmers, minus 230 for Emmers, plus 195 for Skelly. Emmers coming in 18-5, 1-1 in the UFC. Chaz Kelly is 18-3, 7-3 in the UFC, coming off of a decision win versus Forrest Griffin. Chaz Kelly, he's fought pretty decent competition. He's has a little bit has good experience in the UFC, 10 fights already. Looking at our Let's look at the Skelly side real quick. He does have a really good submission game. I think he definitely needs to grapple. But if it does stay on the feet, he does throw some bombs. I think that can also be an option. He could get a knockout in this one. Uh, but the one real concern for him is he's getting up there in age now, and he's on a 1.5 year layoff. He's, I think, fought twice in 2.5 years. He's just not active enough. Looking at Jamal Emmers, he was an LFA champion. One thing that I'm worried about is he does have a suspect chin, but I think he can land the better strikes. He is the better striker. The only thing I'm really worried about is the chin and the IQ on him. I will be going Jamal Emmers here. Uh, I don't know where I don't remember where I put him for my rankings for parlay, but we're starting off with 3 favorites here, and I do like a lot of favorites on this card. Next, we have Shannon Dobson taking on Casey O'Neill. Dobson coming in 4-4, 1-3 in the UFC. Casey O'Neill 5-0 in her pro MMA career, but this is her UFC debut. Looking at the Casey O'Neill side, she does have good wrestling. I think she'll get some ground control here. I think this can easily be a situation where she just takes down Dobson and just controls her on the ground for 15 minutes. Because her striking is weak, but I think Casey O'Neill can definitely put a pace on her and grapple really well. Uh, on the Shannon Dobson side, she's really known for, oh yeah, probably achieving the biggest upset in UFC history. She's a plus 900 dog in her last fight against Maria Agapova, and knocked her out in the second round after Agapova just completely gassed after the first round. For her, I think Dobson, if she wants to win this fight, she needs to keep it on the feet. She needs to box with O'Neill because O'Neill's striking is not good. The only thing is, I think she's going to get taken down plenty of times, mainly because her takedown defense is horrible. She's had 8 takedowns attempted against her, and 8 have successfully taken her down. We're going to Casey O'Neill here. I think she's going to get the decision win here. Minus 150. I don't hate that price. And Casey O'Neill by decision plus 145. I don't hate that as well. And maybe Casey O'Neill by submission at plus 600. I don't hate that line either. I think she's definitely live for a finish there with Shannon Dobson. So give me Casey O'Neill by decision, but I think submission is definitely in play. All right, next we have Julian Rosa taking on Nate Landwehr, minus 125 for Nate Landwehr, plus 105 for Julian Rosa. Arosa coming in 24-8, 1-3 in the UFC. Landwehr 14-3, 1-1 in the UFC. Both of these fighters coming off of good wins in their last fight. Nate Landwehr with a decision win versus Darren Elkins. And Rosa coming off of a third-round submission versus Sean Woodson after being cut from the UFC after 3 straight losses, coming in on short notice, and got the submission win. So let's start on the Rosa side here. He does have really good leg kicks. And he has a really nice jab as well. The problem with him is he's very hittable and has durability issues, which I think could be a problem here against Nate Landwehr. Because looking on his side, I want to bet on Nate Landwehr because he's going to fight for your money. He grinds out his opponents. His cardio is really good. He's got great counters, and I think he'll pressure him. This is definitely a good fight for Nate Landwehr. I think he's going to get the job done. Minus 125. I think that should be a little bit wider. I really like Landwehr in this fight. Minus 125, give it to me. Landwehr, I think by knockout potentially has some value as well as you can get Nate Landwehr by knockout for plus 275. That's not exactly where I want that. I would want that a little bit higher, but plus 275, it's not terrible. But give me Nate Landwehr minus 125 versus Julian Rosa. Next, we have Eddie Weinland taking on John Castaneda. My bad, I can't speak right now. Minus 130 for Castaneda, plus 110 for Eddie Weinland. Weinland coming in 24, 14, and 1, 6, and 8 in the UFC. Castaneda is 17 and 5, 0 and 1 in the UFC, coming off of a loss versus Nathaniel Wood. And then you guys can all remember what happened to Eddie Weinland in his last fight. He got absolutely dropped, walk-off KO for Sean O'Malley. He just was a victim of the sugar show. Let's start on Eddie Weinland here. I definitely like his power. He hits hard. He has lots of power, but he is low volume. So that kind of brings him up to as a KO or bust type fighter here. And the thing is, he does have good defense, takedown defense, but I'm worried about his reaction speed. You saw it in his last fight versus Sean O'Malley. He just let him walk him down and basically clip him right on the chin and didn't really even react. So that's definitely an area of concern. Looking at Castellana, he has good counter. I think he can pressure Weinland a little bit in this fight. He's going to have more volume, and he could mix in some takedowns, which could be really interesting for him. He also has good leg kicks as well, which is something to watch out for. The only problem is his wrestling is not that great, and we don't really know about his cardio. I'm going to be going with John Castaneda here. Wow, I can't speak. But it's going to be one of my lower confidence plays. All right, now we get Violent Bob Ross here. Luis Pena taking on Dakar Close. Minus 156 for Close. Plus 136 for Pena. You can get our Close is 11, 2 and 1, 5 and 2 in the UFC. Pena 8 and 3, 3 and 3 in the UFC. And we'll start on the Pena side here. He's finally an underdog, which is probably where he should have been for most of his fights. After losing to Kamaworthy, he also had a decision loss versus Frivola. But for Pena here, looking at it, I think he's going to need to get the fight to the ground. And he definitely has that size advantage, which can help him get this fight to the ground, take his back, and kind of like backpack him here. He's done that a few times where he's taken the backs of fighters and just held on the whole round and did that. The only thing is he's really looking like a bust as a fighter in the UFC. He was hyped up to be something really good, and then he just hasn't lived up to his potential. Maybe this is the fight he does it. I don't know. Looking at Dakar Close, I feel like he just does just enough to win out a decision. I think he could potentially outpoint Pena in this fight. Uses really good calf kicks and his combos, and get some control time. Get some control time. Maybe get some reverses against Pena. Couple of things that worry me though is he does have poor takedown defense, and he's one of those where he's like the Pittsburgh Steelers. They play down to their competition. He kind of plays down to the competition as well, and has really close decisions. I'm going to go Jakar Close here by decision though. Not one of my most confident picks, but we're going to take him here by decision. Next, we have Danny Chavez taking on Jared Gordon. Minus 133 for Chavez, plus 113 for Gordon. Gordon coming in 16 and 4. He's 4 and 3 in the UFC so far. Versus Danny Chavez, which is 11 and 3, 1 and 0 versus in the UFC, coming off of a win versus TJ Brown. Jared Gordon coming off of a win versus Fishgold, where he looked good. He took him down. His wrestling looked really good in that fight. Looking at, we'll start with Chavez for this one. He does have really good takedown defense, fast hands, and leg kicks, and I definitely think he's going to have the advantage on the feet here. Try to keep it on the feet and try to outbox Derrick Gordon. And looking at Derrick Gordon here, because this is the big one here. 5-pound weight miss. Yeah, it doesn't even look like he tried to cut weight, which could be a strategic thing for him. Because I think he's going to try to get takedowns, which I think not cutting all that weight can definitely help him with stamina with that. Because he's not great on the feet, to be honest. But he will have the cardio advantage, especially now that he's at 150 and didn't drain himself down, and he's going to have the higher volume. But I like Danny Chavez in this fight. I think he's going to be able to clip him, keep it on the feet, and knock him out. I'm going Danny Chavez by knockout in this fight. So yeah, I like Danny Chavez in this fight. So far we've had nothing but favorites so far. But just wait. Next we have Andrei Arlovski taking on Tom Aspinall. Arlovski 30-19, 9-9 in the UFC. Aspinall is 9-2. He's 2-0 in the UFC. We'll start with the Aspinall side. I think he's definitely a first round or bust fighter, which is really difficult to bet on in my eyes. But he is fast on the feet and he hits hard. But we don't really know his cardio because usually he's not making it out the first round. It's a first round knockout for this guy. He's done it plenty of times, and I think the only times we've seen him get out of the first round, he hasn't looked good after that. And looking at Arlovski here, he's fought in the big names too. He's fought Marcin Tybura, Walt Harris, Alistair Overeem. Oh yeah, and Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou. I mean, he's losing to some of these guys. He's losing to these guys, but he's fighting against them. He's fought the best of the best. And he outgrinds them. He has good feints. He has low volume, but I think Andrei Arlovski is a 100% a live dog in this fight. And if this makes it out of the first round, live bet Arlovski. Because we don't know Aspinall, and I know Arlovski can grind out a 15-minute affair. We're going to go with the plus 210 here. I'm going to take Andrei Arlovski to get a decision win. Let's see what Arlovski by decision would be. Plus 325. I don't hate that. So Andrei Arlovski by decision is my pick for this fight. But I really like this as a live betting situation. Next, we have Nasiruddin Imavov taking on Philip Hawes. Imavov is 9-2, 1-0 in the UFC. Hawes is 9-2, 1-0 in the UFC as well. It's basically a pick on minus 115, minus 105 fight. Imavov coming off of a decision win versus Williams, and Phil Hawes coming off of a round 1 TKO win versus Malkoun. Malkoun, I think, was the BJJ coach for Whitaker, which had no reason to be on that card other than Whitaker was fighting the co-main. Let's look at Phil Hawes real quick. I think you definitely have the wrestling advantage in this fight, but I highly doubt he's going to use it just because of his gas tank. He's not a great striker, but he does have power in his hands, as we saw in his last fight. He's going to look for that. He's going to look for that KO. He's going to try to bum rush Imavov, I think, from the start, because he's a round one or bust type of guy. This is another one. Live betting could be huge in this one. If Imavov makes it out of the first round, live bet him, because Philip Hawes probably won that first round and he doesn't have cardio from there on out. And one thing I really like with Imavov here is he has never been knocked out. He has really good wrestling, and he can make it out of the first round. I think he wins this fight, and I think he does. We're going to go with Imavov. I'm going to go by knockout in this one. I think once Phil Hawes unleashes all of his energy in the first round, he can give you either a second or a third round finish. So give me Imavov by TKO for this one. Not one of my most confident parlay pieces, but something I'll probably have a bet on. Let's see what Imavov by knockout would be. You can get Imavov by knockout for plus 425. I really like that, but if you want to get it even juicier, round 2, 16 to 1, round 3, 20 to 1. There you go. Sprinkle half a unit, a quarter unit on it, and try to cash a nice payout there. But I like Imavov by knockout in that fight. All right, we have 4 more fights to go over. We've gone over 10 already. Next, we have Chris Daukaus taking on Alexei Oleinik, minus 205 for Daukaus, plus 175 for Oleinik. Oleinik. We'll start with him. He's 59, 14, and 1 in his career, 8 and 5 in the UFC. Chris Daukaus 10 and 3, 2 and 0 in the UFC. Oleinik, he's the oldest fighter on this. I think the UFC roster. He's 43 years old. His debut, I think, was 1996, before I was born. But looking at Oleinik here, he's a great submission specialist. He's fought in the best competition. Derrick Lewis, Alistair Overeem, Walt Harris. I think he's fought in Ngannou before. But he's one of those, another one where I like to fade these type of fighters. He's a round 1 or bust type of guy. And I used to fade those guys all the time. Because I think there's a good shot they get out of the first round and they're done. Oleinik, I think he's very hittable. He's very slow. And I think Daukaus is going to have a field day with him. Daukaus does have a BJJ black belt as well, but there's no way in hell he wants to grapple with Oleinik because that's the only way Oleinik is going to win this fight is a submission. Looking at Daukaus, he hits hard and he is fast with his striking. I think he needs to keep this fight standing, and I think he's going to knock out Daukaus, or he's going to knock out Oleinik. And I really like Daukaus as a parlay piece. He's one of my favorite fighters on the slate for a parlay. So minus 205, I'm going to have him on plenty of action on this card. Next, we have Darrick Minner taking on Charles Rosa, minus 185 for Rosa, plus 160 for Minner. Minner coming in 25 and 11. He's 1 and 1 in the UFC. Charles Rosa is 13 and 4, 4 and 4 in the UFC. Both these fighters coming off a decision win for Rosa versus Kevin Aguilar, a submission win in round 1 versus TJ Laramie for Minner. And Minner is once again one of the type of fighters I love to fade. He's a round 1 or bust type of guy. We've had a lot of those on this card. I don't really know his cardio, and he doesn't have great cardio. And he's a submission specialist. If he's going to win, it's going to be a round 1 submission. So if we look here, under 2.5 at minus 200. Jeez. Darrick Minner by round 1 submission, 6 to 1. Yeah, I don't mind that price tag. That is absolutely completely live because I think that's the only path to victory for him is getting that round 1 submission. He's also one of those where he gets the submission or he gets submitted. He's going to spend all his energy in round 1 trying to get that submission, and if he doesn't, he can easily be club and subbed or just gas out and get submitted by his opponent. Looking at Charles Rosa, one thing that plays into him in this fight, he's never been submitted. He's got the better striking. He's got great kicks, which I think if he uses the kicks, gets settled into this fight, uses the kicks to limit the mobility of Darrick Minner. He's absolutely the bet to make this. And live betting after round 1, especially if Darrick Minner has expelled all his energy, he's another one of those guys where when you're betting against these round 1 and bust guys, maybe live betting it after the first round is the way to go. I love him I love him live betting if he makes it out of the first round as well. We're going to go with Charles Rosa here. We're going to take him by submission. I think he's going to survive the first round, and then he's going to gas out, and then he's going to submit Minner here. Plus 135 on that is not the greatest. Plus 7 to 1 or 10 to 1 in the second or third round. I kind of like those. So give me Charles Rosa minus 185 versus Derrick Minner. All right, we've made it. This is the co-main event of the evening. We get Katlyn Vieira versus Yana Kunitskaya. We're going to go with that. Minus 266 for Vieira, plus 226 for Kunitskaya. Looking at this one, I think this is going to be a very boring fight, honestly. The style of Kunitskaya is not one that produces an interesting fight. I think that she's going to just work on those clinch works. She's going to get those knees in the clinch. She's going to try to outpower Vieira. And she's going to try to win that fight that way. She's going to just try to keep it in the clinch and go like that. I think she's absolutely 100% a live dog, and I think this is a dog or pass situation. Because looking at the Vieira side, she missed weight by 2 pounds. And this looks like a weight cut that is going to affect her for this fight. Her gas tank, I don't think is going to be as good when it comes to the third round, and that's going to be really interesting, especially if this fight's tied 1-1, and she's gassing out in the third round. I think Kunitskaya has going to be able to continue the clinch work in the third round and try to potentially get a sneaky or get a decision win here. Kunitskaya plus 226 by decision would be plus 315, which I like that one even more. I think that the weight miss is really going to affect Vieira. I'm going to take Kunitskaya here. I think there's 100% the value side for this fight, and we're going to take her by decision. All right, we've made it. This is the main event of the evening. Derrick the Black Beast Lewis taking on Curtis Razor Blaydes. Minus 460 for Razor Blaydes, plus 360 for the Black Beast. Lewis is 24-7, 15-5 in the UFC. Blaydes is 14-2, 9-2 in the UFC. Blaydes' only 2 losses are knockouts versus Ngannou. Can't really blame him there. He's got some good wins on his resume. He has a decision win versus Alexander Volkov, which that win has aged really well now. He's got a second round win over JDS. He's got a nice win over Alistair Overeem. Looking at and then Lewis, he's been doing this for a while too, just coming off of a knockout win versus Alexei Oleinik. And he also has a decision win a while ago versus Francis Ngannou. Looking at Lewis, his takedown defense is really weak. I think he's going to be taken down at will here with Curtis Blaydes. And the only thing I can really say about Derrick Lewis in this fight, he's got a puncher's chance, and that's about it. He does have the most knockouts in UFC history. He could be a live dog. I don't think so, though. I think I think Curtis Blaydes is going to just wrestle Lewis. He's going to take him down at will like he did against Alexander Volkov. He's going to get some ground and pound, and I think he's going to get a knockout anywhere between the second and fourth round. So we're going Curtis Blaydes here with we're going to go sprinkle, probably do quarter unit each maybe on Curtis Blaydes knockout round 3 or 2, 3, 4, and 5, plus 550, plus 600, plus 900, plus 1800. Probably something we're going to look at because I really like Curtis Blaydes in this fight. He is 100% my top parlay piece for this card, which now we're going to quickly get into our rankings. Then we're going to go over our picks for this card, and then we're going to head on out. But if I had to rank these ones where I'm starting a parlay from and go down, I'm starting with Blaydes. Then we're going with Spivak, Emmers, Landwehr, Dawkins, Rosa, Chavez, O'Neal, Close, Imavov, Castaneda, Rodriguez, Arlovski, and Kunitskaya. That's top to bottom where I would go for this for ranking for parlays. All right, so we're going to quickly recap over our picks for this card. We got Sergey Spivak by decision. We have Draco Rodriguez by decision. We have Jamal Emmers by decision. We have O'Neal also by decision. Nate Landwehr by knockout. Castaneda by decision. Dakar Close by decision. Danny Chavez by knockout. Arlovski by decision. Amava by knockout. Dawkins by knockout. Rosa by submission. We got Kunitskaya by decision, and then we're finishing off the night with Curtis Blaydes by knockouts. If this information was helpful to you guys at all, feel free to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel down below and hit the post notification, or click on that bell and turn on post notifications so you guys are notified each and every time we come out with a video here at Earl Sports Bets. But that's going to just about do it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.